He makes it all works for those who love, with those who love it all Him. For those who everything God works, makes it all with.
Welcome back, everyone. Again, my name is Eric Heater. I'm happy to be with you to share with you another daily inspirational. I am privileged to serve at the Eagle Creek Church of Christ in Indianapolis, Indiana, from which I bring you greetings. Today I want to share with you a topic that you may have heard this topic in a song. I want to read the scripture to you before I give you the topic and see if you can familiarize yourself with the topic. In the book of Proverbs, chapter 26 and verse 11, the scripture says, "As a dog returneth to his vomit, so a fool returneth to his folly." There's something to be said about God comparing a dog to a fool. There's something in a dog that makes a dog return to vomit, and there's something in a fool that makes a fool return to his folly. So I want to use that as a subject for just a few seconds. It ain't nothing but the dog in me. Now don't laugh too hard, but that's going to be my subject. What I want to share with you is ways we can handle this problem of the dog in us, or some would acknowledge that I'm really talking about the devil in us. I want to talk about how to handle that. One of the ways we can handle the dog in us is sometimes we can think the dog out of us. David thought a lot about his life. David said in Psalms 119 and verse 59, he said, "I thought on my ways and turned my feet unto thy testimonies." Why did David turn? David turned because he thought on his ways. Why did David turn? David turned because he knew that he needed to turn his feet. Why did David turn? David turned because of the dog in him. He didn't want to return to his vomit. And so, my brothers and sisters, one way we can handle the dog in us is just think him out. The prodigal son, you recall, did some thinking. When the prodigal son found himself in a hog pen, the scriptures tell us in Luke chapter 15 and verse 17 that he came to himself. What does that mean, he came to himself? He found himself in a hog pen, eating like a hog, realizing that he was acting outside of his nature, and he came to himself. What did he do? He thought the dog out of him. Another thing we can do is we can freeze the dog out of us. Someone said that Satan is too much of a gentleman to stay where he's not welcomed. The scriptures teach us in James chapter 4 and verse 7, "Submit yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you." If we resist the so-called dog in us, the dog doesn't find a resting place. The dog doesn't find a place of welcome. And as the scriptures tell us, when we submit ourselves, therefore, to God, that Satan will, in fact, flee from us. So we can think him out. We can freeze him out. And then there's a third thing we can do. I believe we can force the dog out of us by eviction. You recall that Jesus said to Satan in Matthew chapter 4, verses 8 through 10, when Satan had taken the Lord up to the pinnacle of a temple and wanted Jesus to fall down and worship him. Jesus said, "Get thee hence." In other words, Jesus demanded that Satan depart from him. You also recall that Jesus said in Matthew 16 and verse number 23, when he told Peter, get thee behind me, Satan, when Peter was not conducting himself according to the pleasure of the Lord. And so sometimes we can just tell the devil, "Get away from me," or as some have said, "Talk to the hand." Finally, we can pray the devil out of us, or pray the dog out of us, so to speak. You recall in Mark 9:28 and 29, there was a child in whom there was a devil, and Jesus simply said to his apostles who couldn't get him out, "This kind cometh out not but by prayer and fasting." Yes, it's nothing but the dog in us, but there's a stronger Christ in us. God bless you.
Not for 1 minute will he let me cross over to be one of the chosen with eternal life. If I suddenly lose direction, turning from his affection, having then run so far before the finish, any right now question.